YouTube sub here, 10 ton.
Your unprofessionalism astounds me, Raven. For a collab video? Really?
Me, Manmark. Here we react to Goku vs. Fortnite.
Never mind. The dumbassery is surprisingly on brand for us.
So, Trunks vs. Silver?
No. Xeno Trunks versus Archie Silver.
So we're doing Trunks first, right?
To answer all questions, yes.
Alright, so Xeno Trunks hits a little bit different from his normal incarnation.
TLDR, he's a version that gets in contact with the Supreme Kai of Time, who makes him become a time cop to make up for him changing history.
He also gets more forms than his main canon self.
To be exact, Trunks can use the standard Super Saiyan form for a 50 times power increase to all of his stats.
He can then crank it up by a notch by transforming to Super Saiyan 2 for a 2 times increase on top of the 50 times boost. He can then increase that by 4 times with Super Saiyan 3 for a 400 times increase in power from his base form.
He also gets access to Super Saiyan God, giving him a power increase even greater than 3.
The multiplier is unknown, but other Super Saiyan gods have been able to shake the whole universe, so it's pretty powerful.
Trunks also gets a form called Super Saiyan Rage, but since this is Xeno Trunks, I doubt it will be used. Plus, the form was just Super Saiyan with God Ki, so God is probably stronger, so it doesn't really matter. Plus, Trunks does seem to lose some self-control when using it, so God's kinda just better.
Trunks' raw power is a bit hard to pin down, but Universe 7 in Dragon Ball is 13 times the size of our universe, so he should be a few times universal at the least.
In Heroes, Trunks fights Demigra, whose whole plan was to combine the entire multiverse so Trunks could potentially be multiversal.
It should also be noted that Trunks only used Super Saiyan 3 for that fight, so his God form could possibly be even more powerful. As most things with Dragon Ball, I'd say it's dubious at best, but for the sake of the argument, we'll give it to him.
Speed-wise, Trunks should be in the range of quadrillions of times faster than light. P.S. we also don't buy that he's incalculable in speed.
Even if he was incalculable in speed, well, it wouldn't matter, as you'll see later.
And durability, well, he's a Dragon Ball character. Their max output can just be scaled for defense, so universal to multiversal, give or take.
Trunks has a variety of key attacks, from the Final Flash, to the Gallic Gun, to the Kamehameha, to the Masenko, and whatever he does when he kills Frieza for the first time, that was pretty cool too.
Burning attack.
Burning attack.
Trunks is a master swordsman, and he's also picked up a few other key techniques over his journey. He can fire a concussive blast called the Burning Attack. Wonder where we heard that before. He can trap a person in a jar with the Mafuba technique, and he's even learned how to channel the energy of a spirit bomb into his sword to create the Spirit Sword.
Though it must be noted that the sword is only effective on evil creatures. The more pure the target is, the less effective the attack will be.
Trunks also has access to a scatter, which can alert him to nearby energy sources, or just do it himself with his ki.
Lastly, Trunks can fly, create after images to confuse his foes, move in frozen time, and has access to the Ki Sword, a special sword with many abilities. It can allow him to freeze time, time travel, potentially negate abilities or powers of his opponent, and it's sharp so he can stab people with it. Oh, and if he's disarmed, he can just summon it back to his hand.
Yes, Mark, yes he can. People might argue that the Ki Sword is outside help, but here's a picture of Trunks just summoning it to his hand with no assistance at all. Oh, and here's him summoning the Supreme Kai of Time just to freeze time for him, because he can do that. Yes, Death Battle has historically given characters summons. At worst, I think the Supreme Kai of Time will likely just be used as counsel for Trunks, and Silver will likely get Blaze, but still.
Trunks over the years has defeated many impressive foes, including Cell, Frieza, King Cold, Jabura, King of the Demon Realm, nearly killed Fused Zamasu, and has helped the Time Patrol fight a ton of universal or multiversal threats.
But despite any flaws he has, will always rise to the occasion to fight for his future.
But we do have to mention those faults. Trunks' higher forms require more ki to use, so he can risk running out of it if the fight is prolonged.
Trunks also tends to rely on Ki Blast to finish off most of his enemies.
But then we're just getting into semantics. Trunks is cool. Now let's talk about the rodent already.
Like Trunks, this isn't your Grandpappy Silver. Nah, today we're talking about Archie Silver.
This version of the time-traveling hedgehog is, well, from a comic book.
His retelling isn't as cool, but Silver's powers are certainly impressive.
Silver can do the regular hedgehog things like spin dash and homing attacks. And if those don't work, screw it! The man's a psychic.
Silver can fly, read minds, teleport, lift people or objects with his psychic powers. He can control fire, use ESPs to confuse or disorient foes. He can manipulate gravity, freeze time, warp reality, create force fields. He has access to the hyper go-on energy that the Wisps use. He can clone himself, create after images, fire psionic blasts. He can age a person to dust by touching them, and he can use chaos control to time travel.
That was a lot of stuff.
Yes, and that's not including his Super Silver transformation.
While untransforming, Silver becomes invincible. He gains a massive boost to his speed, power, and psychic abilities. He also gains access to a higher version of chaos control.
This version is basically, crazy wish powers, allowing Silver to basically rewrite reality and literally rip a person apart molecule by molecule.
The fuck?
He also should be a multiversal or potentially complex multiversal, since he scales to Archie Sonic and, they have the exact same power set. Oh, and Archie Sonic at one time rewrote both his and Mega Man's entire multiverses with a flick of his hand.
The double fuck?
Silver should also have immeasurable speed, since Archie is way more blatant and consistent with that level of power and scaling.
His durability should also be multiversal from scaling. Silver also fought Enerjack in base, a being who could also rip a person apart at a cellular level. But Silver was fine and fought him for 4 issues, no super form needed.
We're still talking about a Sonic character, right?
Let's not forget him scaling to Sonic, reversing the polarity of a black hole.
Or him fighting a Universal Solaris in Sonic 06.
Or him using chaos control to cure the whole planet of the metal virus.
Oh, and don't forget that his durability should also be multiversal.
Okay, we're done now. Weaknesses.
Okay, Silver is notably naive, his super form does have a time limit, and his psychic powers can be overtaxed.
Good.
Oh, and his super form can last up to an hour or even a day in this version.
Shut up!
Okay, now that Mark has calmed down and caused only $40,000 in property damage onto Tenton's house.
You psychotic asshole!
Anyways, let's give our own opinions here.
When looking at all the numbers, for this fight, this is easily the most difficult episode to predict in probably my entire time of being a death battle, well, I guess predictor, I don't know if there's any better name for it. In terms of raw power, I would probably give it to Trunks, though you can argue it for Silver. That's just the whole thing with this matchup in general, is that you can argue a lot. In terms of speed, it's Archie Silver. No one's going to argue that. It's going to be Silver. There's no universe where Death Battle buys incalculable speed for Dragon Ball characters, so it's just going to be Silver. Durability, again, it's about even. Maybe more in Trunks' favor, but semantics, they both got hacks to get around their powers anyway, so it doesn't really matter. In terms of versatility, it's Silver. He just has way more to work with in terms of powers. In terms of experience, it's Trunks because he's just notably older. Intelligence, I don't think it really matters. Probably Silver. And just in terms of this fight, for win cons, Trunks hitting Silver with his sword would probably kill him. But if Silver has a speed advantage, Silver's going to be super hard to hit. And not to mention that anything Trunks uses isn't going to work on Super Silver because he's invulnerable except for the sword. And even then, it's kind of dubious whether the sword could turn off the transformation. Assuming it can, Trunks has a pretty easy way to win. And if it can't, he's just going to have to survive an hour with Super Silver, which I don't know if he can do. Especially this cracked, insane version of Super Silver who can literally rip him apart molecule by molecule. I know some people might try to argue, well, Trunks has survived some reality warping before. Well, yes, he has. A resistance or experience surviving something doesn't mean he can survive Silver literally ripping him apart molecule by molecule. In this regard, I could see either winning, and that's one thing I love about this episode. For right now, I'm leaning more towards Trunks, but I will generally save my opinion for the reaction video, because I just kind of need to see what Death Battle's laying down for this. If they give them both everything, I think Trunks. If not, I could see Silver winning. That's my opinion.
Leave some for the rest of us, damn!
Okay, Tenton, that was all great. Your research was spot on, 10 out of 10. But let's just break it down. We got a hedgehog who, at the end of the day, is just a mammal. Yes, he has psychic powers, and yes, he can rip things apart molecule by molecule. He's probably the fastest thing alive.
Immeasurable speed.
Immeasurable speed. We got Trunks, the son of a Saiyan prince. He's got royal blood flowing through his veins. He's a warrior by just nature. Saiyans are warriors. They're meant to fight.
So, from the stats laid out, like Tenzin said, from what I can see, it could go either way. Obviously, Silver takes speed. In my opinion, Trunks should debatably take AP along with durability. Comes down to, from what I see, is if Silver can kill Trunks by speed blitzing him before Trunks can get a good hit in, or if Trunks can get a hit in on Silver, killing him. That's basically where it comes down to. I would lean towards possibly Silver winning. But for now, I'm still on the fence.
Yeah, that's fair. Something I did forget to mention. All of Trunks' key attacks are essentially worthless, because Silver could just either absorb them, redirect them with his psychic powers, or just teleport out of the way.
This becomes another speed I would have.
Does Trunks have instant transmission?
No.
He doesn't. But if Trunks does go Super Saiyan God, that's a different form of ki. I don't know if that would affect Silver at all, but it is different ki than normal.
I mean, there's nothing saying he couldn't use his psychic abilities to move it. But to be fair, he can just teleport out of the way. So does it really matter? He probably couldn't absorb it, with energy absorption, but he could probably still move it with his mind. Because I'm fairly certain telepathies in psychic stuff has been used on the god form before, right?
I think so.
I'm pretty. Well, we had a whole thing with Frieza. He can do that kind of stuff.
You're right.
I'm fairly confident he did it on Blue Goku at some point.
Even not, I know Hit froze Goku when he stopped time. So
yeah,
you make a good point.
Yeah, that's just something to point out is that Trunks' ki is essentially useless because it's essentially you hit Silver with that sword or Silver's never gonna die. That's basically what it is.
Yeah, the sword is what is gonna make or break the entire fight, I believe.
Yeah, and if it can't turn off Super Silver, then Trunks is in deep trouble because that thing lasts an hour.
That's the problem because going last, I don't really know what there is much else that I can contribute to this conversation, but I'm just gonna give my thoughts. So ever since we learned that this was the match that was going to be coming up, Tenten has been bombarding me with facts and feats and whatnot very, very late at night, every night when I come home from work. So I have it sort of ingrained into my head that Silver is going to destroy. But as I have recently become a bit of a Dragon Ball fan, I really don't want that to happen because I like Trunks and he's got a cool sword. I don't actually know if Trunks actually stands a chance. I hope he does. But I'm gonna go ahead and root for Trunks, although my brain is saying Silver's gonna win.
Fair enough. With that all being said, comment section, what do you think of this matchup? This battle of legends? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you, Mark, for being on this with us. It was an honor to have you.
Indeed, it was.
Pleasure to be here, guys. Thanks for inviting me.
Link to his channel in the description. Let's go.
I'm doing it. Anyway, that's all from us, YouTube. We'll see you guys next time for the reaction featuring Markman. Hopefully.
See you soon.
Bye, mates.
Bye, Felicia.
Peace.